Hey, Tom Bartels from growfoodwell.com, and today I just wanted to talk briefly about deer fencing in your garden. And specifically, I'll be going over what I call the psychological deer fence to protect all the plants in your garden from those marauding herbivores that we see so often. Now, as I teach the students in my program about aligning with natural systems to make their gardening efforts that much easier and have higher yields with less work, the same goes for understanding your predators and understanding their psychological profile. And in the case of deer, they are really good jumpers, but their legs are not to be jeopardized. So their priority is to protect their legs. So they can get over high barriers, but they also need to think about safety. In this case, what we've done is we've created a psychological barrier in that the deer, when they're looking at a hurdle like this, will say, yeah, I can clear that 7-foot fence, but the next thing they do is look at their landing zone. And when they see this white line right inside their main landing zone, that kind of gives them pause, and they're not going to jeopardize their legs by jumping over something like this and getting entangled in some strange thing that they see at 4 a.m. There's this white line, and they can just kind of see it in the darkness. So that's the key to the psychological deer fence, is having this interior perimeter with posts about every 20 feet or so, and then a simple, say, a 1/4 inch synthetic clothesline. I have tried cotton before, but it degrades after about a year or two, so I like to put the synthetic out here because it lasts a lot longer. So what we're doing is we put a post on the corner inside the main fence line at about 3 feet. So it'll be basically the same shape as your garden, but 3 feet inside that perimeter. That's all you need, and that's the landing zone that they see as off limits, because if they have to jump this high, they're going to hurt themselves coming in on that rope. Now, as far as the fence itself, you can do with just a 4-foot regular garden fence with the wire mesh, and then what you need are some extra long fence posts. So these are 8-foot posts. They're buried about a foot under grade, and I've just packed that in with boulders to make them good and sturdy. And then we've got about a 7-foot post above grade there. Then you simply put some really good steel wire that's going to last a long time. I think this is stainless braided wire, so it's going to last for years and not rust. And that goes right in the middle of the span and one on the top of the span. That way they can't jump here through the middle, and you break up this zone here so it makes it too uncomfortable to jump through these small spaces, and then they see this barrier as what they need to target to get over the fence. Then they see this interior and they just give up. We have a lot of deer out here in this area, and they just end up circling the garden fence and they can't figure out how to get in. Now, this method works at just about any scale. Behind me here is about 1,000 square feet of garden beds, and I know it doesn't look like much at the moment because it's off season, but this is what it looks like in the summertime. So the deer always want to get inside and eat those vegetables. So it's 100% effective. We've had it up for 10 years, and it's a really good answer for keeping deer out of your garden. Now, it does require that you have a fensible shape to your garden. For those of you that are in gardens that don't have perimeters on them or fences, that's in a front yard or something, then that's a tough situation. You just have to assume you're going to be feeding some of your garden to the wildlife that comes through. Now, as far as the human element here, instead of having to go underneath this fence every time I come into the garden, I have a clasp here just inside the garden gate where I can unhook this line. And then I simply put that aside while I'm working on the garden, and then I just remember that when I'm finished in the garden, I clip that back into the fence post, and that completes the perimeter and protects the garden pretty much 24/7 for as long as I like. So I hope that helps in your gardening efforts. Now get out there and grow some food.